In this case, you're just, or Legionnaire or whatever, but it is great fun, isn't it?
I think our players are ready, so let's head on over to the table and take a look at this matchup here. So yeah, we talked about Connor playing Dragon Link.
I think we've got a bit of a surprise for Ruben.
Why is that?
Well, we're going to have to wait. Oh, well, it's already been spoiled there. The big E.
That's kind of what I was getting at here. Banishing a light and dark in this matchup.
Oh, I see. I mean, the big Eldritch in the room. There we go.
Yeah, if we put Golden Lord in the graveyard, then I think Connor's going to be quite happy about that, isn't he?
Well, the Bystials, they're quite good, without banishing cards from your opponent's
graveyard.
Of
course.
But when you get that,
wait, what?
Shot, did I just see that card?
Huh?
No way. No way is that a Magic Cylinder.
Is this it's a burn Eldritch deck?
No.
That's crazy. Oh, you won the dice roll as well. We're going first with set 4.
Set 4. It's funny because I'm seeing those 3 skill drains in Connor's side deck. I wonder how happy he'll be when Ruben plays it against him.
He's not going to need that, is he?
He's probably not going to need that. No, there's not really many effects that Eldritch use on the field.
Oh, Lord. That's terrifying. I mean, listen, if your opponent sets 4 with Dragon Link, normally you're very good at just playing through some of those defensive cards. But, I mean, if they burn you, then... this might be a bit of a different type of duel we'll see here. Skill Drain comes down and flipped immediately on the first effect of this duel.
If I'm Connor here, I'm 100% this is Labyrinth, right? Set 4, activate Skill Drain. That's a Labyrinth game plan.
Yeah.
But there are many decks that can set 4 and activate Skill Drain.
Yeah, burn is one of them apparently. A bit of a weird hand by Connor here. So obviously you don't want to start with Recharger. You normally want to tutor that out of the deck with the Tracer. But he also has the Psychic Soldier who rides on Storms and Currents of Lightning in his hand. Do you know which card that is?
Oh, I see. I see what you're going for here. That's not the good one.
That's definitely not the good side frame. Okay, this is huge. You know, one of my favorite 2-card combos where that involves activating a discard to search is Chaos Space discard Absa Router.
But then you get you're not supposed to get a bonus off your discard because you already get a bonus when it's in the graveyard. You can banish it. You can draw an extra card. Shuffle back one of your light or dark dragons.
Exactly. One of my other favorites as well is the Pendulum Call, discard Dartworm. Do love that. I'm a big fan of that one.
That was very cool from a very long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really want to discard in Pendulum, but anyway, enough about Pendulum. We are special summoning Wyver Burster to the field. We're not going to be able to do much in terms of our monster effects, but they do float and search copies of each other. Chaos Space allows you to recycle. What is that?
I'm as lost as you are.
I think it's Magical Cylinders? Right? I think there's a am I right? I think it is.
What does Magical Cylinders do?
I think it just sets Cylinder from the deck.
No way.
I'm pretty sure that's what it does.
Does it not do anything else? It's just a card that says set a Magical Cylinder.
Okay, look, I'm not 100%, but there it is.
You've opened up lines of questioning now that you say you know what that card is.
Well, he just went and said it, so I suppose that is indeed what it does. Is it continuing? No, it just sets it. Okay, so he's attacking for 1,000 here.
This is an extra line of I think, when you play against someone who's playing Magical Cylinder, it's one thing if you lose to them, but if you lose in a feature match to someone playing Magical Cylinder, you're never going to
live it down, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a Magic... Oh, you know what I just noticed, by the way? Just as a small sort of technical perspective here, did you notice that
he activated the wrong one?
Well, I don't think you can use it in the turn it's set.
Oh, okay.
But he is kind of, just telegraphing that he has 2, right?
Well, yeah, because he activated a second one.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if, that matters. Oh, no, my opponent knows I have a second cylinder. I guess they'll just never attack.
I think they'll probably attack.
At least it's not going to be for game, anyway.
Why was the Magical Cylinder banished? Do you know what it does in the graveyard?
Let's try bringing that up on screen, actually.
It looks
not on screen, sorry, but I'll have a look.
The damage from Magical Cylinder because you can see that Connor's taken.
Oh, right. Did he? Is it doubled?
Well, he's taken 3,400, right?
So, oh god.
And the monster he attacked with had 1,700. That's my guess. I was thinking to myself throughout the turn as to whether Connor had a good answer to Skill Drain in his deck, and I was thinking he might have to make an access code talker, but I think the Hieratic Seal just does a perfectly good job of adding the Skill Drain. Because you can just do it in your opponent's end phase, Should we do it?
Yeah, no, you've telegraphed that perfectly. This card does indeed just double the damage when you banish it from your graveyard. So definitely something to keep an eye on here. Is that a Heavenly Prison?
That's a very shiny Heavenly Prison.
Oh wow, it's great in this type of deck here.
I love this card.
Does it still set under Skill Drain? Because I think it activates in hand, right?
Yeah, the whole effect is activating in the hand. I think.
Did you see what he summoned?
No, he's just revealing it now. So it must be his main phase now.
Okay, cool.
So he's just revealing it.
I mean, typically you just go for like Extrav, right? Like draw cards typically is what you want to get with this. I assume it's probably the best target in his deck here.
Okay.
That's huge.
Yeah, the seal. So Skill Drain is an old school card, I guess. I'm not sure how many cards nowadays do this, but Skill Drain only negates effects of monsters that are resolving on the field, whereas a lot of cards nowadays that they target a monster on the field, they negate it. So if that monster effect activates on the field, it will still be negated. So for example, if you infinite impermanenced a Heraldic Seal, if your opponent didn't chain it, then you activate it on the field, even though it's resolving in the graveyard, it activated on the field, so it'll be negated. But with Skill Drain, it only negates monster effects while they're on the field. So because it's resolving from the graveyard, it will resolve and return the Skill Drain to Ruben's hand, which is a big bonus for Connor now because he can play his next turn unencumbered by Skill Drain and get a Search of Bestial Magma. But I was talking too much, so I didn't see what he searched.
No, it's a great description of exactly what happened there. The Skill Drain uninhibited by the seal uninhibited by the Skill Drain, and Connor now gets to play out this full turn here without the disruption of the Skill Drain. To be fair, like the fact that he's siding Skill Drain shows that dragons don't particularly care that much about it. We do definitely just want to try and get as much removal as possible with dragon to try and stop our opponent from burning us with more cylinders and such.
Yeah, I love it. Like Skill Drain it does affect Connor's deck quite a lot, but I guess the idea is it affects your opponent's deck more. Yeah. So if there's a Skill Drain up, it just turns into a battle of whoever has the biggest monster.
Yep,
so if you think you can summon the biggest monster with your dragon deck, then it's a good choice.
Which is very easy to do. Dissipator, Chaos Angel.
Yeah, Dissipator is huge. Like it's absolutely massive, 3,500, and yeah, as you said, Chaos Angel.
Yeah, just even the Bestials, they're just very easy to summon.
Yeah, and they replace themselves, and Druis Worm will still send cards to the graveyard even under Skill Drain. So
exactly.
I think it's a good choice, and it is quite a popular side deck choice for this Dragon Link deck.
I've been playing this deck, on and off for years now. I mean, there's been so many iterations of this. Even when we had Halka Fibrax, when we had the going even further back, like Guard Dragon LP.
I was going to say when it had LP and Eclipse Wyvern, it was insane.
Yeah. It's been through so many iterations over the course of the last couple of years, and some people are still massive fans of it. And Connor figured that this would be a good event to try it out in. It's not simple. That's the thing. Like the thing, what I was trying to get at was like previously the combos felt a lot more linear. You kind of set up LP, Pisty, and then you sort of go through like a linear line. But it's not really like that anymore. Every hand in Dragon feels very sort of go with the flow.
It's always fun it's fun to have a deck where it kind of does something slightly different every time, isn't it? And you can have to do something different depending on what your hand is. Connor just reminding himself there, so Branded Beast would allow him to tribute a dragon monster and destroy a card his opponent controls, but because Lord of the Heavenly Prison is still revealed, you won't be able to destroy any face-down spell trap cards. Or it might be any spell trap cards, I might be...
No, it's all face-downs actually, because I know this because it protects Subterra Guru from being destroyed when it's face-down. Which is a popular card in the Subterra engine. Not sure if we'll see any of that in Top Cut this weekend.
So I'm wondering... if we're going to see some Magical Cylinder action further this turn.
So Connor should probably be cognizant of the fact that there is another one set there.
Yeah, so does the Magical Cylinders, like, it doesn't let you activate the card on the turn it's set or anything like that?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
But it will double the damage, as we saw earlier. Okay, so this is the great thing about the Collapse Serpent and the Wyvern Burst. They're pairing so well with one another, especially with things like Branded Regained in this deck.
Yeah, I love it. And with Chaos Space as well. It's like, well, you can limit me to one, but I don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll keep putting it back. Do you remember these cards were very cool at 3 for the longest time? And then I think when Link Monsters came out, they needed to be restricted.
Yeah, it was like popularized, I want to say, like late 2014 with the Shaddolls. You had... 3 and 2 generally was the ratio you used to play, and they've just been in and out, like depending on the chaos decks for a while. And
I mean, they're so powerful, aren't they? You just summon a card for free, and then it floats into a new one that you can also summon for free. Like,
it's just one of the most iconic things of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like the chaos variants, the chaos engine and decks. You know, like, oh my god, there's a secret barrel.
how many cards has Connor got? Because it's a lot.
It is a lot. I mean, that's the thing about Dragon Link. They accrue so much advantage with cards in
just
hand
counting.
as well.
That's 5 cards in play. And then he's got 5 or 6 in hand?
Yeah, so if we go for what? Like,
That's
assume
2,000 maybe?
10 cards total. Is it 200 per card?
It's 200 per card, yeah.
Okay, so 26.
You've
Okay.
no, but that won't be destroyed, so let's keep that in mind.
Okay, that should not be destroyed currently.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's noticed it. He's realized that. To be fair, Ruben also missed it as well. But the judge has clarified that the prison will indeed keep this. So he just kind of loses a body there, which is really
Well, I think it
unfortunate.
was intentional because he wanted to have less cards so you take less damage with Secret Barrel.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know how intentional. I don't know if it's worth
I just figured based on the body language that Connor had there, it seemed like that wasn't deliberate.
Maybe, yeah.
Especially when you consider the fact that you want to go for like triple bursts, right? To set
That's
up
true.
that Pisty
Yeah.
line.
I mean, maybe he was obviously willing to tribute the card. He also wanted to destroy his opponent's card. That's why he did it in response to the Secret Barrel to take 200 less damage. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it's really worth it. It's like 200 damage.
Yeah, it's losing a body there doesn't seem great, but anyway.
He obviously not played enough Secret Barrel.
not quite familiar
This is a
with
card
the-
that I think evokes quite strong feelings in Yu-Gi-Oh! Players who have played against these strategies before. Things like Just Desert, Secret Barrel.
Yep. Ceasefire. Don't forget
Ceasefire, don't forget Ceasefire. Ceasefire doesn't work when you give your opponent a bunch of tokens with a Geometria though, so...
Yeah, it's effect monsters, right?
Yeah, exactly. Can't give your opponent tokens anymore though, because too many decks I think will happily link them off.
Isn't Triple Burst really randomly good in this matchup?
You know what?
It's like an Armades style card, isn't it?
What is in it? When your opponent... I think it might negate effects during the damage step only, or it might be in the battle phase.
It definitely negates Ray, 100%, because this was like a very kind of common thing you would do against Sky Striker back in, maybe a couple years ago. You would like attack over a Shizuku or Kagari, and you'd be able to negate Ray with the Triple Burst. So I would assume it probably stops Cylinder as well.
My money is on it negates effects in the damage step and not battle phase.
Okay.
But I might be wrong.
Okay.
It is quite neat. It's not really an effect anyone uses. As far as like everyone is concerned, Triple Burst Dragon is a dragon monster with the appropriate link arrows so that you can activate your Pisty.
Here's one of the most formidable dragon cards in recent years. It is Boral and the Dragon, the Link 5 monster. Not a lot of Link 5s in Yu-Gi-Oh! But
I'm loving it now that they're releasing more. There's like Link 5 Firewall monsters, Link 6 Firewall monsters. It's great.
Tetrahertz recently, I think, from Cyberstorm Access, as well as Singularity and as a Link 6.
Yeah, I think it's really fun.
I really wanted to talk about that deck, but we'll focus on it another day. I was really hoping to see some Cyburst deck utilizing the new Singularity, but I guess we'll have to settle for good old bar on the floor here, as this is going for, this would be game, but I guess it's not really possible to deal. Like, Baron doesn't do much here because of the protection of Prison. It looks like we're going for a direct attack now.
Well, Baron can still negate a magic cylinder, right?
Yes,
It can't destroy something.
but like it's kind of Okay, so Baron attacks. We get a replay to redeclare onto the Hakero. Interesting that we didn't use the Prison in the hand, by the way.
Yeah, I was wondering. It's been chilling in the hand for quite a while.
Yeah. So on resolution of a activation of a spell and trap, you should be able to use Prison.
Yeah, but I think maybe he's holding it to keep the protection effect, so he can protect his magic cylinder, because maybe that's his game plan here. Because Connor is down to 2,600 life points, so
dwindling
magic
right
cylinder
now.
resolving on either of these monsters would end the game.
So is that
But
it?
it doesn't look like it's going to resolve because there's a Baron de Fleur.
Yeah. No. That's enough here to negate. But why is Prison not being summoned yet?
Well, you can't summon it now because the magic cylinder didn't resolve.
It's just the Quaquero. You should have just brought it down, no?
It should possibly, yeah.
Unless we're missing something here, but Baron negating the magic cylinder means we're not going to take fatal damage, and I mean, isn't this just game from Connor? Ruben's on 6,000, right?
Well, the first attack was blocked.
Oh, true, yeah, it was blocked by the Quaquero. Magic cylinder coming down on, was negated. So I think Connor's in a really good spot now.
100%.
Yeah, like
He's used the Baron negation, so I don't know how many millions of cards he has. I'm wondering, Ruben's last card in hand is Skill Drain, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, from the seal bounce.
So he's got to draw something useful, maybe a Secret Barrel. I don't know if Secret Barrel. I was thinking that would be the
I think
best card. I don't know if Connor's got enough cards for Secret Barrel to just flat out end the game.
Secret Blast might work. Doesn't that one do 300?
That's 300 per card on the field.
Is it field only?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to know your burn. But if it's destroyed by a card effect,
Extra into multiples
then it
could work.
does 1,000. I like that. That's a good out. That's always a good out. Pot of Greed into. Can't do it with one card. Let's do it with two.
Because we can't use the beast, the branded beast in the end phase.
Branded Beast can only be used during the main phase, yeah?
Well, it's just you need a bestial to act to.
Oh, you need
to
that
use
as well. That's a good point.
I think that's the activation requirement.
Yeah, I think Connor could tag out his Baron de Fleur into a Bestial, right?
True. Yeah, because
He's already used the negation.
Baron is one of the few monsters, I suppose, that have the once while on the field clause. Not very typical these days, but can tag it out into a bestial to turn on that branded beast.
It's kind of nice. It's once while it's on the field, but once you've used it, you can just swap it for another monster.
Swap it out for another monster, yeah.
Yeah.
Just tagging and looping with.
It's like playing Gladiator Beasts in 2023.
Yeah, something like that, sure. Okay, that's exactly what he's going to do here. Yep, and Magnamut gets to activate Resolve in the end phase to search for any dragon monster.
I love Magnamut. It's so fun.
All right, setting 2 here from Ruben and revealing the prison in the hand.
Possibly
So he has to chain to the prison reveal here
a
to
slight
destroy a card.
misordering, maybe. 'Cause if you just activated the prison before setting cards,
Do you not need to have a set
or maybe
already
you
active?
need a set.
Well, the important thing here is Connor actually kind of missed the best card.
He missed the Skill Drain, right? But
Yeah.
Skill Drain is not going to protect Ruben from taking.
No, but if he pairs it up with a walling of the Golden Lord, it could help, potentially. Because this Conquistador gets to activate in the end phase to set a Eldixir.
I don't know the Eldritch cards that well, I'm going to be honest with you.
Really? Not an Eldritch Enjoyer?
I'm not an Eldritch enjoyer.
Wow, okay. So in a almost beneficial way here, actually the Branded Beast hitting the Conquistador is almost kind of helping Ruben because it gives him access to that Golden Lord.
You can banish them. All of them have an effect in the graveyard, right?
Yes, so either the main phase or I think it's in the end phase for the Golden Lands in the end phase, and the Elixirs are just at any time. So it's one effect per turn, which is why we couldn't use the Equicaro last turn. So this should get like Sanguine plus another Elixir if he really wants to, because there is a Equicaro in the graveyard as well, isn't there?
Well, he activated it last turn. I don't know if if it's still there.
So you should be able to use it in the grave this turn. And the skill drain, I mean, a little bit not very useful in a situation where your opponent has monsters.
Yeah,
especially big borrow ends.
Yeah, especially when their monsters are bigger than yours.
But, oh god, alright, we're just going to flip that immediately in the standby phase. Ruben's getting critical here. Both players deadly low right now.
It's not often you play a game where, like, we were talking about this before, right? Often you don't need to record life point changes because it just happens, you take complete control of the board, you swing and win the game in one turn. But now, there's a lot of life point changes going back and forth being extremely relevant. Ruben just resolving his Lord of the Heavenly Prison. So this will turn off its negation because it's no longer revealed in the hand.
Yeah.
So you do need to be cognizant of that if you are both Ruben and Connor. And he will be able to set a trap, but he won't be able to activate whatever trap he sets this turn.
Typically, it's always follow-up you go for with the prison, right?
Yeah.
But the worst thing here is, as you mentioned, like the non-protection effect kind of switches off now.
He might be fetching an extra burn card just to see if he can...
I mean, it is game if you go for... You can't use it that turn, can you?
No.
Sure.
And it gets banished the turn after.
Yeah. So...
Connor, I was wondering what he was doing with his sunglasses. He's just put them on top of his head, but I was wondering if they were going to come on and he was going to say, deal with it.
No, he's just being blinded by the light that is Skill Drain's immense glare here, I suppose.
It's the Lord of the Heavenly Prison. That's the shiny one.
Oh, he's going for Secret Blast. All right. What? Is that enough to do 26? I'm not sure if it is.
Well, he'd have to survive the turn.
Yeah, which I don't think he's going to. Do you not think like something like Waking the Dragon is something you maybe have to be scared of?
Anything
not,
is
no.
possible.
Yeah, no, you never know.
Waking the Dragon is a scary card.
I mean, Eldritch Bird is out here 2-0 at the National Championship, so literally anything is possible, you know. All right, there's that Sanguine from last turn here, so it does get to wall up alongside the prison. The question is, like, what does it really achieve for you?
Well,
They're both level 10s, right?
are you thinking Gustav?
Yeah. I'm just wondering. Okay, so Golden Lord can turn off Skill Drain at some point if you really want to by putting it in the graveyard, and then maybe you could overlay or something. But I don't know. I feel like you're not going to be able to go anywhere near through that flow with your opponent on like 18 cards in possession.
So it looks like the Branded Beast, he's just going to get rid of the Skill Drain, that's fair enough. It's sometimes you can just cheese it, just destroy one of the monsters, and then swing over with your Borrow End and then maybe find a game that way. But I think if you just turn off the Skill Drain, that's kind of the safe option in the long run, right?
Yeah,
Because it means you're going to resolve. You have to be very sure if you're not destroying the Skill Drain that you have a definite plan to victory, whereas this you can just, once you've destroyed the Skill Drain, you can just do whatever. You can make Baron de Fleur again, for example. Or you can Tribute Summon a Cyclone Driver.
Oh, Borrow End attacks all monsters.
Oh.
Of course, remember. So flexing a little bit there with the Tribute Summon Driver for game from Connor.
Well, you know, you told me that Cyclone Driver wasn't a useful draw.
Oh, listen, all I told you was that he was a psychic soldier that rides on currents of battle or something. Sorry, I've messed that one up.
Forces of Lightning
But
into
yes,
battle. There you go.
Exactly. So that was not quite the matchup you would probably expect to see coming into round 3, right? Especially if you're XO.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, to be honest. I think Burn will always have a place in players' hearts. I think it's a kind of strategy because it's so different to all the other strategies you can do. Most, like obviously a lot of decks do a lot of different things, but most of the time the game involves around like card advantage, having a field that is impossible for your opponent to break, negating your opponent's cards. But Burn is completely different. It actually says, you know what, you've got 8,000 life points, my job is to get them down to 0. So it's just different, and it's cool.
Probably one of the most unique win conditions that has been relevant, per se. You know, we've seen a few like Exodia, we've seen things like that, but Burn has, you know, like you said, like had some sort of a place in Yu-Gi-Oh! In and out for
I feel like
a few years. Maybe not recently.
every event, there's always
someone
at least
tries
one.
it, attempts it.
Someone turns along and
You
they
know.
think, if I activate Skill Drain and Messenger of Peace, what's my opponent going to do?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's essentially, you know, Mystic Mine, but
With extra
steps and cards and draws, I guess. But yeah, Ruben is down a game, unfortunately, and it's probably not the best matchup for him, is it? Because Bestial Dragon Link has a lot of tools to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Connor like very well using the Hieratic Seal
and the Seal,
the
yeah.
Beast. Yeah, so a lot of tools, to be honest, to deal with Skill Drain. We came up with 2 between us, and the fact that it, like, if your opponent's side decking it themselves, it's normally a bad sign. that it's good against their
Yeah,
deck.
exactly. You know, playing the Skill Drains himself. So hopefully we can get back to the table now and take a look at game number 2 as Ruben attempts to mount a comeback in this matchup. Okay, we'll join the table momentarily. Anyway, the Eldritch deck it's been around for a while. A few win conditions we've seen. Not really paired with Burn, has it?
No, I don't really know how they work together. I did enjoy the Magic
cards.
Cylinder. Well, trap cards. I don't think trap cards are the theme. I mean, it kind of is the theme nowadays because if your deck runs trap cards, it has to have a good reason to run trap cards.
Exactly.
And I guess...
As powerful as Eldritch has ever been, I think was probably... Remember the, was it Link Cross? Sort of Halka Fibrax go 1-card combos with Jet Synchron.
Yeah.
And then you like draw cards, and then you end on Herald, Savage. And I think one more other monster, plus like set 5, you know, because you used to draw so many cards. I think it's probably as good as Eldritch ever was in 2020. But Ruben's still holding on for the Eldritch pride there. Oh, gonna
Definitely
go first here.
resurfaced in Mastered All.
That's not a good card for Connor. Just setting 3, baby. What? What is that? Oh, it's in...
Oh, it's Wannabe.
Wannabe. Yeah.
This is a new card that I saw people playing in Labyrinth. It's a very cool card.
Do you know what it does?
Yeah, so it lets you
Okay.
discard it during either player's end phase, and you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and you can pick a trap and set it. I think something happens to the trap if you don't use it after a turn. I think it gets...
Hard to see the glare there, but I mean, there's a Solemn Judgment.
There's definitely a Solemn Judgment.
That's always solid.
But yeah, if you're forced into using Solemn Judgment, it's perhaps a bit weaker, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the full extent of its text, but it popped up in another national championship. Someone was using it in Labyrinth.
Oh, it's like, it doesn't send the rest, okay? It puts them back to the bottom. It's like, it's Pot of Prosperity for
traps.
For traps, yeah.
But it's pretty good, because you can use it in your opponent's turn. So a lot of the weaknesses of trap card effects and decks that run a lot of trap cards is that you have to wait a turn to use it, and you can't, if you're going second, you can't use it until your opponent's next turn. But if you use a Wannabe in your opponent's end phase, then you can activate your trap card straight away.
I will say that I'm feeling a little bit sorry for Ruben, because this is probably like the hardest matchup, like genuinely, because dragons just are very resilient to so many of the popular floodgates.
I was looking at that, I was like, I mean, maybe he doesn't know. I mean, we can see here that we've called Connor's deck Dragon Link deck. And Ruben's got a card which says your opponent can only control one type of monster, which doesn't seem to be a massive issue.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, the fact that Dragon Link has, at some point, had topping deck lists with Rivalry, then that goes to show you just how much it doesn't really care. And as we've mentioned a few times, Connor's siding Skill Drain. So there's a lot of cards that don't do anything. Goes in match, Rivalry, Skill Drain. Oh no, I can only summon Dark Dragons. You know what I mean? It's like...
I mean, Rocket Tracer says that anyway.
Yeah. Self-inflicted goes in match.
I mean, it does prevent... Like, Connor's kind of looking, because normally here your first step one would be Baron de Fleur, but you can't summon Baron de Fleur at least. I'm pretty sure it's not a dragon.
He's probably a little bit scared to like just start beating down, right? Because of those cylinders, I suppose. So...
Cylinder.
Has to be a little bit conscious of the battle phase. So it looks like we're activating the effect of Striker Dragon to get Bootsec to launch here. That's the card that I did want to say.
That's the one you saw.
Connor's reading Mistake. That's amazing. I love that.
If a card has, if you asked me what does Mistake do, I would tell you. But if somebody flipped it against me in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I hadn't seen it for like 5 years, I would read it,
Well, there's one thing that does hurt dragons quite a lot, and I guess it's probably one of the more, meta talking points that we didn't really touch upon. Going into this event here, we've seen like a lot of popularity with Droll Lockbird, particularly against like the super heavy deck. It's not game ending against Kashtira, but it's still very strong. I would personally be very hesitant to enter a tournament with Dragon Link with such a powerful hand trap in the format.
Yeah, that and Dimension Shifter.
Yeah. I mean,
agree.
it's all working against you, I think. So it's a pretty brave choice from Connor to try Dragon Link for this tournament.
Dragon Link is definitely a deck. I mean, I don't want to be mean to it, but I think it's overrepresented because of how fun it is.
True. Okay.
I don't know if that's mean. Like, I feel like it's definitely a strong deck.
Oh, he's not attacking.
He did attack.
Yeah.
But I feel like, if it was a sort of similar power deck, people might not play it if it, wasn't just so fun and so like iconic Yu-Gi-Oh.
So Solemn Judgment, I guess, just went to the graveyard, right? Because of not being used from the Wannabe.
From the Wannabe, yeah.
So I guess it prevented Connor from going in a little bit too hard. Just using the battle phase, trying to poke here, pop, blocking with the Conquistador, and Ruben's just going to set 2 and pass it back to Connor now. And I guess the ball is in the court of Connor now as he decides how much we want to play into 2 mystery back row here. He didn't... I just noticed, Ruben, did he forget to use Conquistador on his own turn?
I was thinking that, yeah. It just sets a card, right? So it's not negated by mistake, or not prevented by mistake.
You should be able to get Sanguine off of it. So he's just kind of lost Lord access for no real reason. That's a bit unfortunate. Okay.
Kind of using... It's good, like, I think, when I say, like, secondary effect, like, obviously the main effect people use every time of the Striker Dragon is the add Bootsec to launch, because it's just kind of free, but it does have another effect that allows you to destroy a card you control and add a rocket monster back from your graveyard.
Yeah. The main synergy sort of with the secondary effect is like Recharger, just reviving another monster. Oh, did he get the Sanguine? Okay, no, he definitely hasn't used Conquistador, so he must have hard drawn it.
Still in the graveyard, yeah.
Yeah, he must have hard drawn it. Okay, so this is pretty good from Ruben. He's, locking dragons out with Mistake and has a 28 wall here. So
I'm a bit worried that the Recharger can pop the Druid Worm.
And send
not the Recharger. I don't know why I called it Recharger. Rocket Tracer. Yeah, can pop the Druid Worm, and that will allow you to send the Eldritch and then possibly Synchro Summon a Boral Savage.
Savage Dragon with a singular negate, I don't think would really get you there.
It's just something you can do.
Yeah, it is just an option.
I mean, it's not like it's supposed to end the game. Yeah, you could just sing. It looks like he's hovering over, just synchro summoning Bestial Dispada. What do you think? You obviously are quite critical here because you've played the deck a lot yourself, so you've got opinions.
Well, like you said, I think the most important thing was the send effect is what we wanted to go for here, and Dissipator is going to be able to destroy a card, I think, right? Is the only negate a card effect.
Negate a monster effect.
Negate a monster effect because it's the banished Honeybee. So I don't know if that's that strong in this matchup, but...
No, I was going to say, Ruben doesn't seem to have that many important monster effects.
Yeah.
I think he's activated one. I don't know, he's activated Lord of the Heavenly Prison.
Yeah, like at best it would
Wannabe.
yeah, so, and it doesn't even destroy, so like if you reveal Lord, hypothetically, you would just get to just use it again on the following turn. Same with Golden Lord, you would just lose a card on the field, which doesn't really matter because all of the elixirs and Golden Lands replace themselves. Assuming we use them, which Ruben hasn't done yet with the Conquistador.
I think the Dispada...
Okay.
Oh, I think he's just using it to
Stop the last back row.
Stop whatever the last face down card is.
Yeah.
Very heads up play there. It's cool to have that extra effect of impermanence.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope Ruben has remembered it and doesn't try and use it.
It's probably a bit concerning for Connor here because I saw there was a Book of Moon in his hand as well. Like, he just has nothing for this matchup. His side patterns are all over the place. And that's not to discredit him. He just doesn't have
I was going to say,
anything.
he's supposed to have something for this
Yeah,
matchup.
exactly, right? Like, you just can't play many cards here, you know? So we have to go for effect negation against the deck that plays Skill Drain. Like, that must feel really bad.
It's a good card around Skill Drain, right?
Yeah, you can like Baron pop Skill Drain, chain your book or something.
Exactly, yeah. It's one of the old school ways, because that interaction's been around for a very long time.
Yeah. Okay, so Boral Savage with one negate. It's fine.
Is it big enough to win the game? No, it gains half the attack of the Striker Dragon. This looks like a Levianeer, so that is enough to win the game.
No? Is he going to destroy? Oh, he's going to destroy. Oh, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I think he could have just attacked, but it seems to have ended the game anyway.
Here. Yeah, so that actually can't declare an attack. So Ruben scooping a little preemptively, I feel there.
Well, it didn't look like a situation he was going to come back from.
Potentially, yeah.
Anyway, I can't fault him for it.
Yeah. So that was a great display of Dragon Link, I suppose, or maybe not in a conventional way, but
not
in a way
conventional way.
Circumvent some of those
It's a good test for a deck because obviously decks have their plan. They have their plan against meta decks, but if you want your deck to be kind of robust to playing against different strategies, your opponent plays Skill Drain, goes to match, whatever. It's cool to know that your deck can deal with these kind of weird situations as well.
Yeah. We're gonna have an interview with Connor momentarily. He can tell us a little bit about the Dragon Link deck and I suppose walk us through some of this matchup here. But like you said, not exactly the route you would have expected to go through with your Dragon combos, trying to just circumvent cylinders and things, right?
But again, it's quite a test for a player as well because. I
want to say historically, people usually say the mark of a good player, maybe at least a few years ago, was how well you play through burn, right?
Just being able to adapt.